Hey there everyone, my name is Vince. Welcome to the channel. If you've been here for a while, you will know that we are a commercial retail general contractor, and my background is more in the lines of carpentry, so that means woodwork. But on the passion side, the things that I love is metalwork. I love welding. Am I great at it? No. I love working on my vehicles. Am I great at it? I'm pretty good. But as we get into more of these metal working projects, I still want systems for my tools that will work together. And in a previous video, we highlighted this rough-in hole saw kit from Diablo. This thing is doggone awesome. But it had a real party trick that made this thing unbeatable. Possibly the best hole saw system on the planet. And I'm gonna share why right after this message from our sponsor, VCG Construction. Want to help out with the channel? Then head on over to the merch store. You get hats, hoodies, t-shirts. I mean, we're heading into the summer. I know it's a little hot for hoodies, so get some t-shirts. Link will be in the description below. I love to have tools that work together, whether it be saws that have integrated systems for vacuums. I also love storage systems, so I know that there's a place for everything and everything's in place. The other thing that I love is when I'm switching in between tools, I love interoperability. Does that even make sense, interoperability? I like when things work together. For instance, this carbide T-Fis's hole saw kit, this is great for roughing in, for wood. But what if you have to cut metal? Well, traditionally, you might need to go to either a twist bit or maybe a different hole saw kit, and that would mean different arbors. But Diablo has a system called Snap Lock Plus that makes one arbor for all hole saw types. Enter Diablo's Steel Demon 6-piece carbide hole cutter set. Now, there's a lot to love about this kit. Number one, it's got more carbide teeth. And as we progress into cutting solutions in construction, automotive, whatever it may be, metalworking, we're seeing such a prevalence of carbide. And they're using more carbide more frequently, and the carbide is formulated for specific tasks. It's pretty awesome that it's become so technologically advanced. And the good part about having technology on your side means that when you're using these solutions, when you have carbide and blades that are tailored to a specific application, that means that you're going to get longer runtime from your battery operated tools. Your tools will run cooler. That means that your tools will last longer. This carbide's tailored to give you up to 50% longer life when you're cutting through metal. And you can see here, this is not only for things like steel studs. You have electrical box enclosures on here. We have plate steel. We even have heavy I-beam. This is made to cut through. Now this kit includes 3 carbide hole cutters, 1 Snap Lock Plus mandrel or arbor, 2 plug ejector pilot bits. It also has 3 size hole saws, 1 3/8, 1 1/8, and 7/8 of an inch. Now, to maximize the life of the carbide hole saw, as well as battery performance, tool life, you're gonna wanna observe the RPM limitations to each saw. For instance, at an 1 3/8, if you're cutting steel, you're gonna wanna keep it to a maximum of 500 RPMs. If you were cutting stainless steel, you're gonna keep it around 250 RPM. 1 1/8, you're gonna wanna keep it at 600 RPM for steel and 300 RPM for stainless steel. And at 7/8 of an inch, you're gonna keep that at 720 RPM for steel and 550 maximum for stainless steel. Another great thing about this kit, it has a clear lid. I could see exactly what's in there. And visually, if I can see what's in my kit, I know if the contents are in there. I know what you're thinking. What does that mean exactly, Vince? That means that when I'm putting a go kit together, to go from the truck to into the job, and I'm grabbing my hole saw kit for metal, all I gotta do is glance and then throw it into my crate or my bag, and I'm good to go. As we open the kit, we have all our components in there, but here's the part that I love the best. This right here, Snap Lock Plus. Now this is saying Snap Lock Plus 130. I don't know exactly what that means, to be honest with you. The one that came in this kit here says Snap Lock Plus 332. These should be completely interoperable. For instance, we could take the mandrel from the metal cutting kit. We should, in essence, be able to put our pilot point from this kit. And sure enough, it works. And we should be able to put our hole saw right on there. And it all works together. It's a system. I don't have to go looking for spare mandrels or different mandrels, different parts. If I have a pilot point that works in this kit here, okay, it will work with this mandrel from this kit here, and vice versa. The other great part is, and we didn't even talk about this previously, not only can you cut metal and wood, they have a whole line of hole saws, diamond grit, for cutting things like tile, brick, masonry. It works with the kit as well. It is a system that will make you more productive, less moving parts for you to lose, so to speak. I know what you're saying though. Sometimes when one size fits all, it doesn't do any one thing spectacularly. I think we proved that this kit actually does when cutting wood, but will these actually cut metal well? I think we should find out. This is the self-ejecting bit. We're gonna pop it right into our arbor. Let's see how a small hole saw does first, and then maybe we could progress to a larger saw. Now, it seems like it has a nice sharp pilot point, but put a little witness mark right there. Now, if you wanted to make yourself faster and more effective, instead of using a traditional drill with a ratcheting chuck, you could always put this bit into a tool that comes with a 7/16 quick collet, something like an impact driver, 1/4-inch impact driver, but bigger. Although Diablo gives some pretty specific speed parameters, they don't really tell us whether we should be using cutting fluid or oil to help with the cut. So maybe we'll do the first cut with a little oil. We could do another cut without the oil. We're gonna be set in speed 1, 720 RPM max is what this is rated for. Our drill in speed 1 is a maximum of 500 RPM, so we're well within the limits. Let's see how it does with a little bit of cutting oil. Oh yeah, safety second. Don't try this at home. I'm what some might call a professional. Okay. You can see once we got down to the carbide cutting portion of that bit, the cut started to progress really quickly. So the bits have a stop built into them, a shoulder here. But for some reason, we're just not getting full depth. Add a little bit more lube. I'm gonna pull my pilot point out. Pop my hole saw back in. Just like that. Piece of cake. Wow. I'm gonna clean this up real quick. Now, you can see that some of our coating has come off, but I will tell you, just by touching them, those carbide are still extremely sharp. I was kind of puzzled by the ridge itself because I'm thinking, shouldn't this be the same diameter the whole way through? But what happened was, I wasn't taking into account the diameter or width of the saw blade itself. So this is indeed exactly the diameter, but what happens is, as the carbide breaks through that edge, the slug breaks through and pops out. There's no reason to cut the rest of this ridge off. Now, I feel like we are like almost at the max diameter or that max depth of this capacity of this hole saw. But I mean, we're only at 3/8 steel. It is right around 1/2 inch. So we're pushing it. We made it through. We did need to remove that pilot point because the spring seemed to be holding us up. But other than that, the finish or the cut quality of the hole, you can see there's like hardly or none. No wobble, no elongation. Let me tilt this over. You can see it. That's a perfectly centered and circular hole. Although Diablo doesn't give any recommendation for oil or no oil, I would say you probably should use some type of cutting fluid. But for the sake of science, what I've decided to do is we're gonna cut a larger hole, the 1 3/8, with no fluid. And we'll see how the Diablo bit does. I'm gonna use all the downward pressure from the beginning. Full tilt from this drill is 500 RPM and speed 1. This bit through regular steel is 460 RPM. I will assume that it's a plus or minus type thing. I think we'll be fine. Whoa. Have my witness mark. Safety first this time. I feel like we're about halfway through. I feel like the bit itself is definitely going to be running a lot warmer, but I'm going to tell you this much. As crazy as it may sound, I would so far err on the side of no cutting fluid, because the cutting fluid in the last hole seemed to make a slurry that captured the particles, the steel particles, and potentially slowed the cut. Maybe even could have dulled the blade, although it didn't seem that it did. This hole with no cutting fluid, you can see more of the metal shavings are being thrown away from the cut. So it's less grinding against the blade itself, allowing it to do more cutting. Pop our bit back in, continue our cut, because I still feel like we're being held up somewhat. And if you like, when using oil and not using oil really doesn't matter. Personally, I would still use the oil. Then smash the like button. It's free for you to do. It doesn't cost you a dime. Plus, you also get 7 years of good luck. Let us know down in the comment section below. What do you think of the new arbor system from Diablo? You can go from cutting wood to ceramic tile to cutting through 3/8-inch thick steel. We want to know. Leave it all below. With that, I want to say I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Thanks a lot, everybody. I hope to see you all on the next one. Let's do another one.